The tempo.
Skywalker.
The tempo.
Like everybody shoot.
And any young kids that start to go.
It seems familiar, you know? So I called him up. Man, people, hey, man, you famous now, man.
You know what I'm saying? That gonna come soon. You know what I'm saying?
The tempo.
I on dick. Hey, that should be making me so bad, bro.
I don't know how y'all was raised, but I was raised quite.
Smile like, hey, bro, stay in your lane, bro. Hey, bro.
I'm back in your DMs. What's up, bro?
That's all the fuck I gotta say.
Try to go back in the past, he will fuck up what you going through now.
The tempo.
Not running that bitch back at all. Got me screwed. No. There we go. We good. Alright. Okay. Alright. We back to work. We is back to work and we good on the logic. Sorry about that. We are trying to get things together.
Hey, y'all.
Alright, lit. We are back to work. Alright, anyway. Sorry about that. That's me being a fucking dumbass. But, yeah, man, you know this shit happens. But, so what we were talking about was, just kind of like, you getting started and handling the whole, MoonButter shit. And it's actually pretty interesting because one thing I always loved about, like, people that take interest in things that they like, they start businesses about things that they're interested in, is that, like, it's so easy to be like, oh, okay, I like painting, I want to be a painter, you know what I'm saying? And like I like doing nails, I want to be a nail tech, whatever the case may be. But it's like, when you want to, like, own your own business when it comes to selling products and shit like that, like, you're not just a person that create. You don't just create. Like, you're the technician of it. You're the PR person.
Do everything.
The
videographer.
Exactly.
Well, I got a videographer. I have a really good guy on my team. His name is Spaceography. I call him Space. And he's on my team. He's on my camp, and we actually really work good together. I'm able to, give him visions, and he's able to execute them. And, being as though my company is called MoonButter Products, and his name is Space, like, that kind of was like divine almost in a sense. So, but yeah, definitely, you definitely gotta, be the PR, the manager, the inventory, the chemist, you gotta be everything. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's worth it because this is what I love to do. Like, it doesn't seem like work to me. You know what I'm saying? No. You love what you do. If you love what you do, it will never feel like work. I promise you.
I can agree with that. Especially well, I could say that it, like, maybe it may feel like work, but you enjoy doing it.
Right.
You know
you won't be like dreading, like punch in, punch out.
Facts,
you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, it's a lot of hard work and dedication and fails and fuck ups. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like nothing deters you from achieving that goal, your goal, your ultimate goal. So
that's real. So, what was some of the biggest speed bumps when it comes to trying to start your own? Because I mean, you're in a lane that it isn't really crowded, but there are some people trying to, like, sell natural products and things of that nature. What's some of the speed bumps that you've come across?
I feel like in the industry, me being in the beauty industry, beauty cosmetic industry, I face a lot of road bumps all the time now. As far as, like, paperwork, all my stuff legit. You know what I'm saying? My T's is crossed, my I's is dotted. But a lot of girls now are into, making the lip glosses and, selling them on college campuses, which makes a lot of sense. And, I had to look and analyze, like, okay, if I go on my timeline, my personal timeline on Instagram, I can pull up 3 or 4 pages with girls selling lip gloss. So I said, all right, Gigi, like, what do you got to do to set yourself aside from them? What's going to make you different? You know what I'm saying? What y'all, we all got the same audience. You know what I'm saying? But what's going to set you aside from them? What's going to make you be different? So I was like, all right, well, bam, I'm going to make sure my lip glosses is packed with pigment. So it's like to
what's
the point where
pigment for
the
guys?
So pigment, okay, so let me tell you guys, put y'all up to speed. So basically pigment is like the color. So the color will be in a dust mineral form to the point where, you know how you go to the nail salon and you see them file the nails and they got face masks on?
No, but like
Okay,
I
so
get
if guys have came into the nail salon, or a lot of the nail techs wear masks that cover up their nose and their mouth, and that's because of the chemicals and the minerals and the metal that's in the acrylic can be very harmful when you ingest it or inhale it, and it gets into your lungs. You know how sometimes you might sit in a room in some dust and then you got a cough and you gotta drink water. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So pigment basically it comes in different colors, and that's one of the things that I use in a lot of my ingredients with like lip glosses and my MoonButter bronzer and things like that. So I said, well, a lot of these girls are not putting a lot of pigment in their lip glosses. Like you can, squeeze some of the lip gloss out and it'll run clear. Mine, you squeeze it out, it look like Mac, or I kiss your shirt with a white shirt and you want to see color. You're going to see red, you're going to see pink, you're going to see whatever color that I put into that lip gloss. So that's the difference between pigment and just, a gloss, a clear lip gloss and whatnot. So I definitely had to set myself, apart from everyone else. And like I said, my brand, we're not just cosmetics, So you got to be able to tackle, I have to strategically know who my audience is and what they want and what I need to provide for them. So that's what that came down to.
No, that's lit. That's definitely lit. I mean, it's definitely a process because, like, whenever, starting any type of business, you gotta, understand your demographic and you gotta, lean towards what they want.
Right.
And so I definitely get how it can be difficult and stuff like that. Like I know. From what I understand, like it takes a while for businesses to get in the black. So as far as what you invest into it, and then how much you get. You know what I'm saying? Basically, how to recoup your investment and just actually start to make money. Has your business like kind of got to the black, or how long does it really take before? So people know, like how long does it really take for your business?
I mean, it kind of all depends on the industry. For me, like. I feel as though, and I know this probably sounds cliche, but Nipsey Hussle said it, and Mano, Mano.
Yeah, Mano.
He said, life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say I'm in the black as of yet, but it's to the point where I get at least 2 to 3 sales a day.
Okay.
And that's on a humble side. Like one thing people have to realize, I feel like you have to realize 3 things. One, I might want to get pen and paper. One, okay, you have to be humble, okay? If you feel like I'm about to start a business, I'm about to make $100K in a month, you tripping.
Yeah,
tripping. That's unrealistic. You have to set realistic goals for yourself, and even if it's 3 sales a day, 4 sales a day, it's something. You know what I'm saying? You got that notification going off that you got to sell. So I would say being humble is the first thing. The second thing is you have to be open-minded, and you constantly have to read, and you constantly have to do research in your field. And number 3, don't never compare yourself or look at what somebody else is doing in your industry, because you're going to get a mind block and you're going to get sidetracked and you're going to be trying to do what they're doing and lose your creativity and your individuality.
Nah, that's so fucking real, because I can tell you, like, when I first started the shit, like, I was like, I always like talking to people, like, I some of the people I listen to aren't mainstream at all. Like, I like to listen to people who I feel like speak the truth, and not necessarily people who everybody fucks with. So, like, when I first started off, I was like, son, this lane must be wide open. This joint is wide open. I ain't even tripping about none of this shit. I already know. I feel like, and I still do feel like as far as content goes, like, and conversation, like my podcast is one of the best in DMV. But, like, I did, like, when I started looking at other people, like, I would see other podcasts in the area that would have bigger names, You know, and it would be like when you pay too much attention to that, I'd be like, damn, how you get them? Like you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, oh man, it will distract you and like freeze you in a sense where you just like, man, they already doing that, so I might as well be like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can't. That is very important. You know that you can't be worried about what nobody else doing. You gotta get your stuff together.
And just to piggyback off of what you're saying, like even in your camp or your team, your squad, whatever, everyone has to be on the same page as to what the goal is or the objective is for that group, for that company. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like if I'm focused, if I'm tuned into my next collection or dropping something. I don't need, my team or somebody from my team sending me pictures like, oh, look at this cosmetic. Like, nah, I don't need that.
Right.
You know that's a distraction.
Learn. It is a distraction. You can learn. Like, don't get me wrong. It's other things that where I'll look at other people's stuff, especially people I admire. Like, I'll learn like certain ways that they do things.
Yes, your influentials. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be like, all right, so I see where I'm lacking at a little bit on this end, and like I'll pay attention. But like you can't get to the point where you're like if you focus too hard, like you'll get to this point of envy, and you always got to be careful of that. Everybody is capable of envy. You know what I'm saying? And then when you focus too hard on other people's accomplishments versus your own, then you will get in that realm of envy.
Absolutely.
And you gotta lean off of that.
The sunken place.
Yeah, there's no exact. That's real though. That's real though. There's no logos.
The sunken place.
No logos.
Get out that sunken place.
That shit's real, man.
Facts.
And so, like, especially in this Instagram, in this exactly when in this Instagram social media world, like, do you find yourself, because you do a similar thing that I do? Like, I'll mix in, like, I have my show. I don't just strictly put the stuff that's just purely just what's going on my show. I do some of the stuff that's going on in my life. It's my only page. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I started from my page, which had like 24 followers. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just moved it like that. So like as we see that the people who end up being successful, people that kind of show their own life, like as being a woman in this industry trying to make their stuff. Is there ever any like pressure to kind of do what people who are getting bread do? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, show a little bit, show them you on vacation in the sunsuit, you know what I'm saying? Talk a little bit of shit. Yeah. Maybe get on some controversial talk, is there pressure on that?
No, I would say, I wouldn't say, all right, as far as pressure wise, I'm gonna keep it 100. As far as pressure wise, I would say image would be more of a pressure thing because, like, I do cosmetics. I'm in cosmetics and I'm in beauty. So, all right, I can hit my face. You know what I'm saying? I could give a nice beat. Beat me, put makeup on.
I'm familiar with the beat part.
Yeah, I can give a nice beat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, okay, let's say I got a nice beat and I got a nice outfit on an ensemble. Okay, I'm what you call, we won't keep 100. I'm what you call, the fellas be like, little butt. Alright?
Little butt?
Little butt. Alright? It ain't flat. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't flat or nothing like that.
No, that's real.
But you know what I'm saying? So, it's like, I wouldn't get as much likes or as much views because of what I have on and how I'm posed. As opposed to, if I go underneath the table and my body is snatched and you see the curvature, you know what I'm saying? Like you see the curvature, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like is pressure in that, but I'm a very confident woman. I'm very confident in myself. So I feel like anything that I was to change or alter, it would just be because I wanted to. And because that's what I wanted. Now, I would say as far... What was the other question?
No. I mean, it's just as far as, like, what was the pressure... Like, do you find the pressure of kind of conforming to a lot of what people in social media is
Well, I wouldn't... Well, I mean, like I said, if I choose to do anything, it would be because I want to do it for my own...
Hey, look, and so I'm going to challenge you on that part because... So, like, when that's like I hear a lot of women use that type of those
That
phrases.
slogan?
Right, yeah. They use that slogan when they be like, oh, I went and got some surgery, I went and got, a little bit of, Joan on my ass because that's what I wanted to do. But to me, it's like, there's like, reality is what you're doing is you want the social perception of you having a bigger butt. That's just a fact.
But
like,
wait,
how could
on.
you do it for yourself?
But wait, hold
like,
on.
why do you get big titties just so that you can look at yourself and have big titties?
But listen.
Like, what is that?
But listen, this is my thing. Like, I feel like it's levels to that. Because I could go on the table right now and get 500 cc's put in my butt.
Right.
And my butt looks natural and it's like a Toya Wright butt.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Trina butt. As opposed to a Black China or a Nicki Minaj.
Yeah,
that's still doing it for myself because maybe when I get home and I take my clothes off or I'm in front of a man, I want my lingerie to fit a certain way, or I want my underwears to fit a certain way, or I want my sundress to look a certain way.
But
that's
you just revealed something though. When you see your man, you got it. All right. So what we have to admit, I think that one thing we got to keep it honest about is that our presentation to other people is important. Like that's just a reality. So
right.
like your social presentation to people is important. Now, it shouldn't be your highest value, but it is important. So that's why I always find it funny when people because it's the same phrase that is used whether you get titties or ass or liposuction. It's always like, I did it for me. It's like, no,
but
I didn't do it for you. Essentially,
I'm gonna say this. In a couple of years, and the guy, I don't know if you follow him, but his name is Gary V.
Oh, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, the white guy.
I've been
in a couple of years, social media is gonna be gone. Like, if this is something that I wanted to do prior to me starting my business, prior to me having a social media, prior to me, trying to be a DC public figure, then you can't. What you're saying don't really stick to me. If this is what I wanted to do prior of all of this,
but we're talking about intention. So we're talking the whole idea is the intention of like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but what I am saying is that we got to keep it. All right, so keep it in 100. You do it for the social recognition of. It's the same way why guys work out. Like, guys work out also to be healthy, but like when you really getting your abs all together, you want to be able to socially look good. Like you want other people to look at you and say, that's an ideal.
But I'm gonna drop another piece on you.
Okay.
I could get my body done tomorrow, be healed, have a fat, stupid, dumb butt.
Right.
And when I go on MoonButter page or when I go on my personal page, I still post pictures of my face.
What does that mean though? What does that mean?
But because you can a lot of times you can tell and you can separate the difference of somebody who just got their body done just to post a bunch of pictures and backshot pictures on Instagram, as opposed to a person who got their body done and they wanted it just for them, and you only see them post when they on a beach in a bathing suit, or you might not see as much.
I mean, it is levels to it. It is levels to it.
It's all in the intent.
It is in the intent. It is. I mean, I guess it's just kind of hard for guys because I guess us as men sometimes we be like at the end of the day for us, and I know I feel like girls don't believe it, but I feel like it's the truth.
Well,
it's like we don't give a fuck how much makeup you put on, how much ass you supposedly got. Like, I've never met a dude in my entire life that was like, you know what? She ain't got on the right dress. I ain't fucking. You know what? Titty's not big enough. I'm not about to.
No shade.
I'm not about to hit. I'm not about to figure it out.
No,
like what?
No shit. And that's funny you said it because yesterday I said to somebody, I said, it don't matter if I got a paper bag on. I'm a woman, and somebody will try their hand.
For sure.
Somebody will try their hand. But I will say this. The certain caliber of guys that would approach you without a butt, you will probably be able to get once you have a butt. Cause a lot of now
but
keep
what
it 100.
caliber are we talking about? What are we talking about guys with
Listen,
power or power?
No,
what I'm
saying is, everyone has a type. You have some people who just like, oh, I don't have a type, whatever, I see, I like, that's the case may be, you know what I'm saying? However, that's not me. I have a specific type. I like.
What's your type?
I like my niggas like Deuce. Okay.
Like Deuce. What? No. let's get into it. So for all those who want to know, like, it's like, nah. But like what is your type when you say that?
Okay, so this is my type. And I feel like, the only type of guy that I probably can really date is like a legit self-made entrepreneur. Like somebody with an EIN number. Not you hitting a block and you making these sales, you jugging, and you're an entrepreneur. No. I mean somebody legit as an entrepreneur, because I've tried being in a relationship with me just doing straight entrepreneur and it doesn't work. They're not lenient with my time. They're not understanding with my time, why I don't answer the phone because I'm locked in. Like, they don't understand that, and sometimes they don't respect that, and sometimes they could be needy. I don't have that time to give you, baby. Okay? I got MoonButter. So, I like dark-skinned guys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I like entrepreneur type, and I like a guy I like an alpha male, so I like a strong male. Because I'm an alpha female, but I have no problem submitting. But I'm only going to submit for the right one.
Well, that's absolutely fair. I think that's like with a lot of women. I mean, and then because there is a bunch of like classes in the what they call the social sexual hierarchy. You got alphas, betas, but beta isn't bad. Beta's like a number 2, but the bad ones is like gammas, and then you got deltas are like the guy that probably like, that works every day. They're like the hard worker type of guy. And I mean, to be honest with you, like, to kind of talk on the social sexual hierarchy, it's very interesting because, like, of course, a lot of women like alphas, but alpha type of guys aren't like, all right, so you have like one of the best type of guys that end up being in relationships for a long time are delta type of guys. These are guys that don't really want a lot of attention. They're guys that tend to like just they're really hard workers and they stick to tasks and they take orders and they complete those orders. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys that end up being in a lot of long-term type of relationships. The problem with, like, let's say you'll have like alpha males. The problem with alpha males is that they tend to be seeked by everybody, and because of their trying to like not necessarily dominate, but their conquering nature. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes, the alpha type of males aren't necessarily the greatest. I'm not saying, if that's your shit, get it in. Yeah, no shame. Get it, but like works for you. Right, but like alpha type of males are, and I'm not like we need those. We need everybody in the hierarchy except for like maybe gammas, which is like the hater type of dudes. Ooh, but like right. But the alphas are the ones that these are guys that are like. That are wanted by everybody. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's because they like conquering things. They don't succumb to social pressure. They do a lot of, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of shit that comes along. Like these sexual hierarchies, none of them is actually technically good or bad, technically. Like, it's like, it's all your position. I got a pros and cons. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it, like, especially like, it's so funny because like for women, like, we have, like, even to this day, nobody, like, they've defined the male sexual social hierarchy. But women, we don't know. We have no idea. Women's social, idea, like, they're so complicated. Women are so complicated. You got city girls, and you got Janae Aiko, okay? You got city girls and Janae Aiko. All right, so tell me about Janae Aiko. What's going on with her? I mean, Janae Aiko, like, she's low-key, but she's freaky. I thought she was fucking insane. No. She's no. That's Ariana Grande who's insane. From what I heard. For real? Like, yeah, that was like. I feel like Ariana Grande be like that white girl that be from the hood that just ready to pop off and prove a point or something. That was the joke because no shade. Like because what's her name? Aiko is who's with fucking Big Sean now, but he was dating Ariana Grande. Right. He was the one who made the But you might see. I heard she's insane. But you might who? Ariana Grande. No, Ariana Grande. But you see how he had the balance. He had the wild, crazy one, and then he had that temperament, like lukewarm water. Yeah,
I like Janae Aiko because
I think that's like as you mature, like especially as guys, like we take a longer time to like figure out like, hey, look, and I think that's why like back in the day it was so important for us to for like marriage to be really serious on the social net, because it was like it really took it. It made guys be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna fuck with you if you out here just doing your own thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You find you a woman and you get the fuck married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was really important for guys because like a lot of times we're here to fucking like serve in a sense. Like women are the creators of life. So we're here to protect and serve, and so it's like when we're just out here fucking, you know, getting our fucking rocks off. You know, that shit is fucking It doesn't help anybody.
Right. Like I definitely know for a fact, like in the Muslim community, like the man is the provider. He works, he brings home the money, he brings home the food. The woman, she educates her children, she takes care of the home, make sure the home is clean, and she takes care of her husband when he comes home and she cooks.
I envy it. I envy. Like, I ain't gonna swell. There's a lot of problems I have with Islam, but like one thing I really respect is just the community part, because they get it. They get it on such a level. Some of them get it. Like the ones that are really devout, it's like they get it. They're like it's about. They're not like look. It's about family, praising Allah, and fucking and handling business, and it's like everybody understands their role. And they're not fucking fighting over their role. They understand their role in the game. And it's like that right there. This is why I feel like especially because, you know, the thing with like, you know, I'm getting back into the Christian whole faith. And like the thing that I feel like is really lacking right now is just that we've kind of let secularism kind of lose our, like we've lost our way when we were talking about like traditional marriage. It's like everybody's now is like, you can do anything the fuck you want, whenever you want. And nothing means anything. Men can be women, whatever the fuck. I'm like Muslim, we love. They not playing none of that bullshit.
Like that.
They not, and that's why they rock it. Like that's why they now.
It is what it says.
And they're not playing any games. And this is why they're not doing none of that abortion stuff. They're like, look, we have the kids and we take care of the kids, and that's it. Allah got us. Right, facts. we get married and that's it. Right. That's it. That's all. Right. Now, people, you could call that oppression if you want to, but it's really not. In a sense, to me, it's like people understanding their roles and doing what they're supposed to do for their families. So like I'm all on it for that. Now the whole caliphate situation is like they're like governmentally like they have problems because it's like they don't separate church and state. So it's like they use Muslim law whenever it comes to whenever somebody in Muslim like in Middle East, like it's like caliphates always form.
Oh yeah. It gets real oppressive. Cultural Muslims.
Yeah, like you can go like, you know, in anywhere in the Middle East, and when you have caliphates that form, this is the reason why Christianity worked for so long, because they separate. You know, God said, "Give unto Caesar's," or Jesus said, "Give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and give unto God's what is God's." So that what they did was that separated the government from the people. And so when you have caliphates, it's like you'll have these people in higher government situations that they just run everything and just tyrannize. Like, you know,
they instill fear.
It is. It's tough. It is really tough. Like I made a post today on Facebook where I was looking at Ilhan Omar or whatever. She's like a representative in God, I wish I had that picture. I put it up. But like she's a representative in Congress, and I basically disagree with her with damn near everything. But like her family is like fucking beautiful. She's from Somalia. Her family's fucking beautiful. They really look really Ethiopian. But like they like her family's fucking like, and I'm so torn because like I don't agree with none of her politics, but it's like some of the shit I love the family, like not just her, like the family, like the black, like they as black as it fucking gets.
Yeah, Somalian are black.
They're lit.
Yeah,
they're fucking lit. So I was so torn about that shit today, but it's fucking crazy. So it's like I don't know. Everybody has their pros and cons and shit when it comes to it, but that's one thing we gotta be able to like, you know, be humble and learn from people. Like, and one thing the Muslims got is like, son, they're not confused about all this freedom and none of that. Like, they get it. Traditional families where it's at. They get it. That's where it's at. This is how you hold a nation.
So
together.
look, I would say this, because I'll leave it at this.
Okay.
So a lot of times in the Muslim community, you can marry a woman for 5 reasons. Like you can marry her for 5 reasons. You can marry her for her beauty. You can marry her for her power. So let's say, and this goes to like her power. So she might be a princess or a queen or an Aries or an heir to someone. You know what I'm saying? This 5 things just goes for the religion itself.
Okay.
So it can be in DC, it can be in Afghanistan, Iraq, anywhere. Okay? So you can marry a woman for her beauty. You can marry her for her power. You can marry her for the knowledge and how much she knows of her religion. So you can marry her for her deen. Okay? You can marry her for her deen. You can marry her, let's say, this goes back to, I can't even remember the word right now. But I'm trying to think. I think it might be fornication, where you marry more than one woman.
No, that's polygamy.
Polygamy, yes, polygamy.
Right.
So you can marry a woman for polygamy. So say I'm your wife and I can't bear any children. I can say marry her because marrying
you can add on to that.
Yeah, because basically like it's so strict in that community, in that religion, that half of your deen is getting married.
Yeah, but it's a problem with that, just because like especially when you any cultures that practice polygamy have problems because like the biggest problem is just that you leave a bunch of males. What happens is whatever males who end up having power or alpha status, whatever the case may be, they end up having a lot of wives, and so that leaves like a lot of guys that just don't have any. And what happens is when guys don't have any wives and they can't get no women, they fuck up the hierarchy.
But think about this. It's more women on the earth than men.
But not by that much though.
But that's why you can marry more women than men, because it's
but
not
the numbers. I get what you're saying, but the numbers don't add up to that. Just because, like, all right, so let's say it's only like, let's say out of like y'all are only over like it's like maybe 47% men, 52% fucking women. So that's still just. Let's just say it's 55. Let's say it's 60. Let's say 60-40. It's possible. Let's say 60-40. Even with that being the case, when you have polygamy, you'll have guys that the numbers are still off, because you'll have guys that'll have 2 and 3 wives. So let's say if that's 2 and 3 wives, let's say 4 guys. Let's say there are 4 guys, 4 females. If you have one guy that has 4 females, I mean, then you have 3 guys that don't have none.
But there's more women out here, so you can find them. But
numbers wise, if you put the numbers together, it still is like, it's still disproportionate. It's still like, but you're still gonna have a small number of guys who end up having endless amounts of, like, you're gonna have a guy who has 8 wives, 7 wives, 2 wives, 3 wives, and then you're gonna have 10 niggas that don't have nothing. Now the problem is, I'm not saying that that's, well, no, it is wrong, because what happens is that the 10 niggas that don't have nothing say, we don't got nothing, so let's just fuck shit up. That's how niggas work. When they don't have, that's one of the beauty things about men, is that with women, it's just that when you get a wife, when you have kids, like, you have a purpose for doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when men, and that's one of our biggest problems, like, especially within our culture, is that, you know, men aren't getting married anymore. Men aren't, like, what some men are, don't get me wrong, some men are, but the majority aren't getting married anymore.
Right.
Like you talking like it's somewhere near 20%. And it's like, so what you're having is a bunch of guys that aren't settling down and finding meaning in providing for a woman. So you have a bunch of dudes that's just out here doing nothing or going for personal gain.
But what are we talking about? Are we talking about the general population, or we're just talking about
we can just talk about black?
No, but
even in the Muslim population, they have a serious issue with that, because this is why you have endless jihadists and people that are susceptible to that, because you have endless dudes that don't have no wives, nobody to fight for.
No, this is the issue. This is the issue. Because if you're able, if you decide that you want to have more than one wife, or 2-3 wives.
Okay.
You have to be financially stable to provide for them, the other wife, and if they have children. So a lot of times with this society now, you can't even. No, you have to. No, that's obligatory.
I mean, you
You
look
have
over
to
there
provide.
like provide like they got 3 goats.
Listen,
You know what I'm
no.
saying?
It's to the point
They
where
can barely, you know what I'm saying?
to
It's
the
not
point
like
where
crazy.
if it's to the point where you have 2 wives. Let's say you decide
Okay.
you have 2 wives. I'm one of your wives, and you have another wife. You over my house 1 week. You're over her house 1 week. You still have to provide housing, clothing, shelter, right? Food for both of them, and if they have children.
And but you see that's a problem though, because
Why?
especially no, not the providing part. I'm with all of that. But the problem is that like the only guys that what's gonna happen is there aren't many guys that can do that.
Exactly.
So the guys that can do that will end up having a disproportionate amount of females. Okay. This is the problem why polygamous societies are unstable, because there are only going to be a small amount of guys that can do that, and what you're going to have is a small amount of guys who have endless wives. It's the idea of it's Pareto's distribution, where it talks about like the resource, no matter what it is, when it comes to music, money, whatever, there always ends up being a small amount of people who have a lot. You can even talk about music.
They haven't had lots.
How many rappers is it out there? Like 50,000? How many people is actually getting money? 100?
Or got plats and stuff.
Exactly. 100? 200?
Yeah.
So you're talking about like less than like point something 0% that have all the product. So it's the same thing with like polygamous societies. If you have, that's why I do believe in like the Christian idea of just having like marriage, because what it does is it stabilizes things, and it's even better for the alpha, because the alpha doesn't get like, and I understand it, because I've been in situations where it was like I could mess with endless amounts of joints like on different days and shit like that, but it doesn't mean anything.
But you know what that goes back to as well? That goes back to the fear. Like I feel like in Islam, there's a lot of fear instilled in the community that if you don't do this, if you don't follow this way by the Quran, you will be punished by hellfire. Now with Christianity, I feel like it's too lenient. It's a lot of lenient. It's like, oh, it's not that bad. Like what's today? Good Friday and Passover and Easter, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in a Baptist, you know what I'm saying, in a Baptist household, and they was not playing. We was in church. We was doing Good Friday. We was doing Passover. We was doing all of that. But now, as our older generation, like, you know, our great grandparents and grandparents are passing over, the new generation and the one behind us, they're more lenient.
And I
feel like it starts back in the household, like trying to grab back those roots in that strictness and that fear. There's no fear.
I mean, that's real. And that just goes back to like, because like this is the reason why like the traditional household is always best, just because like you have that balance of you need the wisdom and the caring nature of the mom. You know what I'm saying? You also need that the discipline and the, you know, the power that comes with, like, you know, the father.
Right.
And so, and those things counterbalance each other. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So to the point where you have a higher, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but you have a higher chance of having, you know, children that are more equipped for dealing with this world. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nowadays it's like everybody's promoting the upside down. They're saying that, you know, they're saying that men can be women, that there's no biological difference between men and women. Therefore,
do you know? Do you know that they have classes in DC public schools? They have classes on sexuality, like sexuality and bisexual.
Yeah, you got me
introduced to this. So this is my question, and this is my question. So, let's say I have a child, or there's a school in a predominantly white area, Georgetown, Georgetown or Tillytown, right?
Right.
You guys will put more effort into educating them on different sexuality, but not educate them on the culture of DC. That's just like Howard University.
It's
and
bullshit.
it's just like Howard University, and like I heard it today, and it burned me up about the people that live in the area with the gentrification, and you feel like you bold enough to walk your dog on HU yard and let them defecate on the yard, or you want to work out and do push-ups at Howard University and you don't even attend there. Like, who does that?
Yeah, that's the, I mean,
that's
know,
an insult.
They got the game screwed on that. But I mean, but the thing about gentrification, because I have mixed feelings about it, because a lot of it, like gentrification didn't come from, like don't get me wrong, that Howard University shit, you got the shit screwed. Like that's a private institution.
Yes.
You got the shit screwed. But as far as the argument that people make for gentrification, the problem is that we accept like when you say like nigga like people suck the devil's dick. The problem is that when you take because it's like when you accept the welfare state, right? When you accept like taking money from the government and things of that nature, what happens is the reality is that you don't own that property.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard fact, but you don't. So since you don't own that property, you have no stake in that property. Right. It doesn't matter if you live there 30 years. Yeah. Just like when you're renting out a building. The owner of that building decides, hey, you know what? I don't want this shit no more. Right. I want to just take it and throw it into the ground. Mm-hmm. That person owns that. And the problem is that we owned a lot of property. And you know, Killer Mike talks about it in oh God, I think it was called Triggered on Netflix or whatever. But he talks about a lot of the main problems in Atlanta was like when gentrification wasn't that. It wasn't eminent domain. It wasn't like the government was coming in and saying, this is ours. I know you own this, but we taking it. Right. No, like a lot of the generations, the older generations would like buy the houses, and then when the kids would come and they grow up, they would sell them. Yeah. They would sell them because they just get the bread. Right, and they didn't really see like and that's our value fault. And
exactly.
And so that's
really
why we
educated
gotta
and stuff
we
like
gotta
that.
we gotta get the culture back because it's like. You can't blame people for you can't blame the fact that white people are sitting up here buying these houses that you didn't own. Right. Now, if you were getting stripped of your, or there was some type of
trying to buy you out or something.
Right. And look, and even with the buyout type of situation, you can refuse it. Now, they give you offers that it's hard to refuse. Mm-hmm. They might give you 2 times what your house is worth, which is tough. Right. But it's like, when you value your community more, then we wouldn't be giving up that.
Right, exactly.
Like, you look at, areas of, you know, San Francisco, California, areas of DC that the Asian community holds on to, they're not giving that stuff up. You got to like
Chinatown and a little bit of K Street, like in those high rise. Because I remember, I grew up they tore my hood down. I grew up in Certain Quarters, so I was like, I had a front view of gentrification. I've been born and raised there. Like, my mom grew up there. Like, my dad's side grew up there. So it was I remember, it being all black. Or the Chocolate City being all black. Or you walk down the street, down K Street, where they got the new busboys and poets at. And that high-rise was all black. And it wasn't nothing there but, parking lots. To park in the club and go to the club and go to the strip clubs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you got the... You know, the shims pumping. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make a $1. You know what I'm saying? So it's I've seen that, and for it to just evolve and change, and
it's tough to see, but it's it's the reality that you have to face. It's just like, you know, when you don't pay your mortgage and then the bank comes and takes your house. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's it's tough, but it's you know. It's not all their fault. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like we have to be, and I love the fact that my good man Nate, he from around here, he running for a council member.
Nate Brown, Nate
Brown, he's a good man. We grew up together. You know what I'm saying? His daughter, I coached her cheerleading, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just good that we still have people that's from around the way to still educate. And let them know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? Because they talking about rebuilding Temple Court. And they all right, we got an open house meeting. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put their thoughts and perspective and meet with the developers. And you know what I'm saying? So we need more young people. And even, because I went to HD. I didn't go to Dunbar. But my good man, Holcomb, I can't even remember his name right now, but he's in Ward 7 by Bennett Road.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him went to high school together,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a council member. So it's just good to see people that I grew up with that are just taking the baton and trying to educate people in the area about what's going on.
That's good,
You
and
know
that's
what I'm
why
saying?
that's why I
even
like
Tavon
promoting those
White.
type of- Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He let them know,
Right.
like, hey, you putting them new developments, we need to make sure we got black employees. We got these subcontractors. Y'all
Right.
got construction and all of this. Y'all need to make
Right.
sure that y'all hire people within the DC.
And that's
So-
really dope. That's super important. Like, and that's why I always promote people that are actually doing something. Like people like, especially when you talk about like Nate Brown. Like this man, you know, you can agree with the politics or not, which I do agree with a lot of his politics. Like, but it's like the man is in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's actually like I like talking about people that are actually doing something because those are the people
Right.
that are going to promote change.
Right.
Those are the people that's going to really help out, and that's where it starts as our community. We
And
can't,
speak for us.
like, and that's why like when people get so like up in their panties about Donald Trump, I'm like a lot of the shit that goes on with him, like that doesn't affect your life.
Mhm.
Like what really affects your life is what's going on immediately around you,
Exactly.
and really focusing on your community. Because I can tell you like this: government doesn't bring any culture out of poverty or anything like. Government doesn't really essentially do anything for anybody.
Right.
It usually is a negative. So it's like if we want positivity, if we want some real live progression, then what we have to do is really attack some of the norms that are going on in our community and really start building something and really start building something new together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Down here at the local level.
I agree.
So you know, that's just lit. So all right, so like how can people like, you know, purchase this MoonButter? Get they
So
something together,
I
you
am
know.
on Instagram. You can hashtag MoonButter Bronzer all together. MoonButter Bronzer. You can go on my IG. It's moon_butter_bronzer. Alright. I'm on Shopify. You can check my website out, www.moonbutterproducts.com.
Okay.
I'm on there. I'm everywhere. Everywhere,
And
man.
so get, you know what I'm saying, get your gloss on.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
IG
saying?
try hate. They try to block my video.
For what?
They first of all, they said it was too much sexual content. But you got the girls half naked on Fashion Nova. You got the girl Jordan showing the creases, all that. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Little
that's
old
a,
me,
you know, if you get enough monitors, if you get enough likes, they don't give a fuck about
little
that.
old
None of
me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to push my content. They hate. You know what I'm saying? But check
Hey,
me
look,
out, man.
Hey, look, check her out, man. She doing her thing, man. I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you
Look,
for having me.
man, look,
Thank you for having me.
we could have got it in. I got to take a piss, though. That's one of the times.
Oh, we got intermission.
Man. I could talk to you for like 3-4 hours, man. But I really want to thank you for coming on. Y'all make sure y'all go get her shit.
Yes,
Michelle.
go check me out.
If y'all want to listen to the audio, I'm gonna have the HD uploaded real soon. You can go on www.dmvspeaks. Check me out on Apple Podcasts, Instagram Tempo Pod TV, YouTube Tempo Pod TV.
Make sure y'all subscribe to my man Tempo.
Yeah, exactly. Especially
Subscribe.
on YouTube, man, because that's where the bread is.
Okay, subscribe.
That's what-
Subscribe.
hey, look, I'm gonna be on D Live soon because I know how YouTube likes to censor the truth. So anyway,
we woke over here.
We woke over here, man. But yeah.
Facts.
Like I said, man, appreciate you all for coming through, man. This is a Tempo show. We gonna holler at you. All right?
Chip.
Whoop. We lit. We lit as a bitch. All right. That was lit. That was lit as